I just wanted to ask about using the law of attraction to develop telekinesis and telepathy and that sort of thing.
Well, we want to play with you just a little bit. Do you go to school on how to use gravity? Do you study a course that says if I don't know about it, I might throw this up and it might just go away? And the reason that we're playing with you in this way is because it's not that you use law of attraction, it's that law of attraction manages all of the vibrational frequencies. And so phrase your question in another way. In other words, you're not using law of attraction. Law of attraction is responding to everything. So
is it possible to work yourself into vibrational alignment with having the ability, if you like, to move objects with, by intending to move them with
whatever you want? But here's the thing, what you're really talking about is how can I utilize my guidance system? Because that process of recognizing things, it's about managing energy is really what you're talking about. So anytime you focus anything purely, your focus is powerful. It's the contradiction of focus. Sometimes people say, well, my focus is scattered. They'll say, I'm working on too many things at the same time, and so I'm not powerful about anything. And we want you to know that you could simultaneously be creating in a lot of different arenas, and it's not your scattered thought or your thinking about many different things that slows you down. It's contradictory thought, it's split energy. So it's about focus, which is about, we've said for some time, if you want something and believe it, then it is. So if you can, Jerry Nestor's friend was talking about going to a spoon bending class, and at first no one was able to bend any spoons with their mind. And then all of a sudden a woman said, well, look at that. And as everyone looked over and saw her spoon just like butter in her hands, then spoons all over the room. In other words, because their sense of belief moved from it can't be done to it's being done. And then very soon the window closed and no one was bending spoons again. It was sort of like, can we do it? I hope we can do it. I'd like to do it. Oh, look, she's doing it. Oh, I'm doing it. That's crazy. No one can do that. And so it's just about you finding the place. These things we want to say to you are important. It must be something that you want and something that you expect. And expectation is a very good word. Wanting and believing seems two different focuses. Expecting is sort of wanting and believing all at the same time. So we would say to you, you can do anything that you expect that you can do, and there are no limits. If you can leave everybody else out of the equation, then you can accomplish a lot.
So if for example, if I were to just close my eyes and imagine, if I were trying to move some object, if I imagine this object moving, if I expect it moving, if I expect it to move, and if I focus entirely on that thought, on that happening, then that will be, yeah.
It would be easier for you to, in your mind, see it as having already moved. Because there's something about trying to stay with it that sort of slows you down. It's like, is it moving? Is it moving? Is it moving? Is it moving? Play with it and see what happens. And you'll find your own place within it, you see. Don't ask someone else. Don't need someone else to do it first. Just find your own, manage your own contrast. That's really what you're talking about here.
And as regards telepathy as well, it would be the same thing more or less, wouldn't it? It would be just, is it just kind of tuning into it vibrationally?
It's the same in the sense that it's something that most people have the ability to do but don't know they're doing. You are all more vibrational beings than you are anything else. And so you are communicating much more through vibration than you are through your language. even your body language. In other words, you are emanating a vibration. But the thing that makes you not sure of that is that when you are on a different wavelength than someone else, then your reception with one another is not that good. You can talk to people and you can hear each other's words, but whether you're actually communicating is another thing altogether. Yes. And this, but with telepathy or with conversation through thought, you're not hearing the sound, and so you're not being distracted by the conversation where you're not on the same wavelength. You only pick up when you are. How often are you with someone who says or answers the question that you were just thinking? It's what it is. Or how often do you know the telephone is going to ring before your ears tell you it is? You are all picking up on thoughts, and much more than you know.
And the more you pay attention to that, the more it will actually be a part of your experience. Not
only the more you pay attention to it, but the more you validate for yourself your ability to do it, the more you come to a place of expecting, you see. And in time, you'll just relax. You know, you walk into a room and you look to see who's there, or you say, I'm going to check out this room. And we would like to say that even though you may be using your physical senses to do it, that you are vibrationally knowing what's going on in the room much more than you are visually or auditorially, or in terms of fragrance or odor knowing. In other words, you are deciphering much more information than you know. And what we're encouraging you to do is to reach for feeling good as much as you can, so that you are using whatever it is you are giving your attention to for your excuse to be in alignment with who you are, and then your abilities to understand vibrationally become far keener. In other words, when you are in concert with your broader perspective, your discernment of vibrational things is much keener. So your goal again is joy or happiness or feeling as good as you can feel, and then that intuitive feeling will come. And it is an intuitive feeling. It's that feeling of being called forward from broader perspective, who has broader view, who knows right where everything you want is, and then is leading you right along the most comfortable path, or the path of most allowance, or another way of saying it is your path of least resistance. And because Source knows the best avenue to get you from where you are to where you want to be, and even though there are many avenues, you are always being called to the avenue that would be considered best, because it is the path of least resistance for you. So just like water making its way downstream, you are being called to the full fruition of not only the culmination of what you want, but a happy journey along the way. Have you ever experienced the feeling of deja vu, where you know, you recognize it when you get there? Well, what that means, if it's happening to you, as you say, all the time, a very frequent experience, that's a very good sign for you, because what it means is you are vibrationally interpreting. So that means that you're getting into the vibrational vicinity of this future opening, and in your vibrational sense you are recognizing it vibrationally, but you can't interpret it necessarily visually at that point. You can't interpret it auditorial verbally necessarily, but there is a knowing at deep levels, and then when you walk through space and time and it unfolds, you recognize it. It's familiar because you had the experience vibrationally. Now you're having the full experience of it, you see. It's a good sign when that begins to happen. It means that you are keen to your vibration, and that you are in the vicinity of that good feeling vibration. You're close to who you really are. Good.